Hey, what's up guys? We're coming at you with a brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion video, and today we're going to be talking about one of the apparently recently leaked jump promos coming out. Now, I got this, again, a friend sent this to me, and he got it from, I think it's Silvercard's Facebook, who claimed they got it from, like, MaxSuit or something was their source. I don't know the legitimacy of that at all, but the actual image that I have is pretty in line with the other jump promo kind of leaks that we have. So I really want to do a video on this. We don't know the effect of this card. I just want to do some speculation, more so kind of what effects it might have, but more so lore-wise, because we know this card is part of an archetype that is heavily lore-based. So the card is called Wynn the Spirit Medium. So this is a brand new Charmer card. We know that Charmers were ranked very highly in the structure deck poll. I think they were easily in the top 5. They were in the number 2 slot for quite a while, and they're definitely battling it out with Trap Tricks. And this is really cool. And you can see she's basically got, what's interesting is like it's the Dark Magical Circle around her artwork as well. We also see in the bottom right-hand corner, we get to see Petite Dragon. And in the top left-hand corner, we see a new monster. Now, when I initially looked at this, I wasn't sure, but then I reviewed some of Wynn's other cards, particularly her Link, Wynn the Wind Charmer Verdant. We can see it's actually the same monster. Now, what also is interesting is she's wearing basically the same outfit that she's wearing in her Link form, which we've seen her wear, of course, which is very similar to what she's been wearing over the years through her familiar possessed form, as well as her normal form. We see her staff is still the same, and it's actually the same as Winder's staff. But what is also interesting about this card particularly is the version of the dragon we see is actually still Petite Dragon. It's not Ranru or Storm Dragon yet, which basically indicates this is before her dragon grows up. So it's kind of have to speculate where this takes place in the lore. Well, it's hard to tell because we know the familiar possessed forms of the Charmers take place, further on in the future. Whereas what's interesting, she also still looks quite young here, and as you know, of course, when we get to Storming Wind, she's quite older, and her Petite Dragon is still Petite Dragon. So it's kind of weird to speculate. So I think this is kind of around the same time as Wynn the Wind Charmer Verdant. Now, in terms of effects, well, interestingly, she's a level 5 wind monster. So this is the first level 5 Charmer that we've seen. They normally sit around the 3 to 4 with their familiar possessed and storming or cataclysmic forms sitting at level 4, and their original forms starting at level 3, and all their advanced pets around level 4. Now, it's interesting to speculate what this card could actually do. Now, it could be one of two things. The most likely option is this card is another generic wind support card for the wind attribute, which of course all her cards so far have had something to do with that. And I said, well, like we know that the Charmers were able to steal wind monsters, the familiar possessed were able to get piercing and stuff like that and become basically staples of the deck. It's interesting to speculate because this could be the first piece of a Charmer deck formulating that we actually, can build and play properly like Charmer fans have been wanting for many years. And that interesting will ask us the question, will this card count as a familiar possessed or a Charmer? Now, we know Possessed, Awakening, and Unpossessed are two specific Charmer support cards. We know that Possessed Awakening is, I think it's still a tournament promo exclusively in Japan. It was given away as a giveaway, and it was done, I think, as a promo for YCS, one of the most recent Japanese YCSs. So yeah, could be a result of that. Nice new piece of Charmer support. But I think the fact that she's level 5 does indicate that we are moving towards that Charmer support archetype that we really wanted for a long time. And I know a friend of mine said that they were basically going to support, he figures that they were going to support every deck that got into the top 3. And I know that Charmers really need support. So I think we can definitely assume that this card will either be treated as a familiar possessed or a Charmer, because both of those are able to get effects off Possessed Awakening, Unpossessed, as well as, of course, the Lynx having those same feats as well. She could have abilities that searches other monsters within the archetype. She could search wind monsters. She could let you special summon them to the field, or she herself could be brought out on the field if you control another wind monster. Be really interesting, you know, if you control a level 4 wind monster, such as Rianru, you'd be able to special summon her. It also, as you see the return of the monster on the top left, indicates that this monster seems to have some relevance within her, you know, story. And of course, Hita had a new monster on her link as well, and as does Orsa, and her link is coming out a little bit later. And we will assume that Area gets one as well. We also beg the question is, will we see Light, Lena, and Dark getting versions like this as well? Because we never got cataclysmic forms for them. It took years for us to get familiar possessed forms of them, and it took years as well to get charmer forms of them. So will we see links, or will we see new effect monster versions of them? Considering that she's a jump promo, the chances are she will be sort of, I think she could kind of be generic win support. But what do you guys think? What do you think this is going to be? Do you think this is going to be generic charmer support? Do you think this is going to be support specifically for Wynn in particular? I would love it if she was just Wynn support, like Wynn WYNN as opposed to WIND, because Wynn is my favorite charmer. She's one of my favorite monsters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And will we actually see a card for the pet on the top left? As we do have Petite Dragon, I think it'd be really cool for them to work the pets, both versions of the pets, into the archetype by having brand new retrains of the base pets that have kind of search abilities. They can go ahead and grab spellcasters of the same attribute as them or a different attribute as them would be really cool. And, you know, being able to pump them up as well, kind of like Honest Effects would be pretty decent. It'd make a pretty interesting deck combination. But that's just my initial thoughts. What do you guys think? What do you think this card's going to be? Do you think we're going to see the other three main charmers, you know, Area, Orsa, and Hita getting support with these cards as well? Do you think they're all going to be jump promos? Do you think that's going to affect their likelihood of being imported into the TCG? I know we're still waiting for Possessed Awakening. It's probably going to be a long time before we get that. If they do import them all, they'll probably import them all together. Are you as excited as I am? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you for my next video.